Hazrat Masum alayhi salam میگم به همتون. Hello, good evening. Welcome to the celebration of the birth of Hazrat Masum alayhi salam. Please give a loud salavat.
Allahumma
از نور محمدی دلم مسرور است. پیوسته بگو تو بر محمد صلوات.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad آل محمد.
آمد گلها به باغ، معصومه بر شیه چشم و چراغ. بر تو معصومه جان خدمت عاشقان افتخار هست. چون به نسل نبی از کرامت کریمه به نامی. آمد گلها به باغ، معصومه بر شیه چشم و چراغ. با سرور میرسد فاطمه نور چشم همه. که تو هستی در این سرزمین جای زهرا. آمد گلها به باغ، معصومه بر شیه چشم و چراغ. So tonight's focus will be on keramat, dignity, and today's generation and the modern lifestyle. Forgive me, I literally had an hour or two to prepare this and I didn't go over it, so if there's any errors, let me tell you ahead of time, sorry. So in today's society, faith and belief, it seems to be misplaced as something, misplaced confidence in which something there's no evidence to prove. This is the concept that we find in the modern world for those who just follow their religion because their family does or their society does blindly. And if that is the reason you're following the religion, it's true. Because if you're Muslim, and it's just because my parents are Muslim or my society is Muslim, that's not the correct believer. A believer in Islam doctrine, as we know as Iman in Arabic, means to give safety or security to the ones in existence. This Iman and belief in Islam and faith will only be complete when someone looks to find the proof and the evidence by searching one's heart, looking into the message sent by the Prophet and adopting it based on one's convictions to rectify. As this is the way of life because of what I know about it and the evidence it's based upon. Only then will the strength of faith and religion find dignity of the believer, and the believer will flourish. When our faith is rooted in solid evidence, we can truly begin to work on God's message and work for God, for His message. This message is what we find in Surah Al-Hud. At the end of the surah, Allah is telling us that the Prophet and the believers, we have sent down these messengers of so many prophets in great detail so that it will give you fortitude to your heart. And what has come in the message is the truth and reminding of admonishment for those who believe. So tell those who choose not to believe, go ahead and work for whatever you believe in, and we're going to work in what we believe in, and a message that we know to be true. Wait for the appointed time when we will all die and we will be resurrected, and we are waiting with you. God is the only one who has control over the unseen of the heaven and the earth, and to Him returns all affairs. So worship Him alone and put your trust in Him and your Lord, and has never been needless of what you are doing, needless of what you or they are doing. A person of faith should stand out in moral leadership. The Prophet said, whoever pleases God, even though the people might not like it, God will strengthen that person to where they don't need the people. Another narration says, He will make the people like that person and they will respect what it is he or she is doing. But whoever displeases God is seeking acceptance with the people, and God will authorize those people over that person seeking their acceptance. So we find ourselves in a lot of pressure in the society we live in today. And the Prophet said, don't allow and don't Don't allow any of you to be followers saying, I will follow the people when they are doing good, I will do good, and if they are doing bad, I will also do bad. Instead, struggle and strive and make it your standard that when people are doing wrong, you never join them and you stand against it. But this goes back to your faith, right? So what do you know is right, and where did you get that knowledge? Because every day we're being brainwashed by society and media saying that people are the ones that are making these decisions for us. Human beings, we're not perfect, we keep evolving, we keep changing our minds, so that foundation is not reliable. That's why God sent all these prophets and these different miracles to prove that they are living and teaching the message they came with, and it's a reliable foundation for us to have faith in. You see, where we talk about the difference between integration and assimilation, it's the prophetic model for all the prophets to integrate into society. And what does that mean? It means that I am one of my people, so we're living in America, so we're American. You brought your kids here, you're raising them, and by default that makes them American. But as integrated people, we have our own identity, and based on our own faith, we should decipher how we live our lives. Assimilating, we just become like everyone else, and we don't have any distinguishing characteristics that we're known by. So if the people want you to assimilate, they're not being liberal human rights supporters because they're telling you to compromise who you are for their pleasure. So that's not freedom, that's not human rights, it's not constitutionally American. Actually, we should be dignified and proud and happy to live as believers in this society, but we should not do this on terms of living somewhere else based on what we are used to back home, because it'll create conflicts that are not needed, and that's not the prophetic model. The prophets would go into communities and say, be as you are, but we're going to come, we're going to teach you our ways and add value and regulation to your society. Not come in and say, you're doing everything, we're doing everything right, do it our way. As a strong believer, some people think a strong believer is someone who makes Islam incompatible with things that are normal, or someone who is rigid and judgmental and harsh, and that's not right. That's not the right believer. This goes against the lofty example of the prophet who was kind, he was gentle, understanding, easygoing, and he understood people's circumstances. He was welcoming to them. He didn't say, look, I'm the prophet, I'm perfect, you're all wrongdoers, what are you doing in my mosque? He was welcoming, he was understanding that spirituality is a delicate process, it takes time, and a believer is one who has no arrogance in religion. Especially, we're humans, we're never going to be perfect. The only one that lived perfectly was a prophet, and the rest of us fall short of that, and all we can do is strive to be like him. Someone who struggles and strives and does not need, does what they need to benefit them and be successful in their own religion. A believer is about striving to be the best they can be for God. This doesn't mean a believer should never enjoy themselves. The prophet and his companions would often laugh, say jokes, they would wrestle, they would say poetry, and that was the exception to the norm. Society today tells us that we always have to have fun and always be entertained. A believer is about being accepted by God, being closer to the ways of the prophet, and preparing to die, because that's the only guarantee that we have. So I'm going to pass the microphone over to Hanum Dr. Talbusi. And what is your definition of keramat and dignity?
میکروفون بگیرید.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum, brothers and sisters. Congratulations on birthday of Hazrat Fatimah Masoomeh. I've never actually sat here before. I actually can see everybody and everything. So next time I will make sure that when I'm sitting and I'm listening or watching, I make sure that I actually listen. When I'm sitting there, I didn't know the person here talking actually can see everything. I can see everything. Okay. Actually, I had something prepared about Hazrat Fatima Masuma and her karamat. Is that me? Okay. All right. So I think most of you actually know better than me about Hazrat Fatima Masuma. This was actually a good opportunity for me because I didn't really know much about her. I thought that I only knew that she's Imam Reza's sister, and everybody loved her. And we go to Qom instead of Mashhad sometimes to pay pilgrimage to her. So this was a great opportunity for me to learn about her. Probably you guys know more than me, so sorry about telling you about the basics you already know. Alright, so with that, we all know Imam Reza and we all love Imam Reza, right? So I think if we tell how Hazrat Fatima Masuma is related to Imam Reza and what Imam Reza thinks about her, that actually tell us more about her. So Imam Reza, we all know, is the son of Imam Musa Kazim, right? And we know that his mom was Najma Khatun. After 25 years after Imam Reza was born, Najma Khatun's second child was born, and that was Hazrat Fatima Masuma. So Imam Musa Kazim had many children, all of us know, right? But two of them were from the same dad and from the same mom, being Imam Reza and Hazrat Fatima Masuma. So Imam Reza taught all of his brothers and sisters about everything, right? But he and his sister, Hazrat Fatima Masuma, were very close to each other and they loved each other very much. During the time of, now we all love Imam Reza, right? Now all of us like Imam Musa Kazim, but at that time, being related to this family was something like a crime. That's why Imam Musa Kazim and all of his lovers, or being called Shi'ayan, spent most of their time in prison. And Imam Musa Kazim was actually martyred in the prison, right? So it's, at that time, being related to this family was not something to be proud of, maybe, like in public. But Hazrat Fatima Masuma loved his brother so much and was so proud of being his sister that once someone asked him, who are you? And she said, I'm Masuma, I'm Imam Reza's sister. So this showed that she loved him so much and she was so proud of being his sister and telling that in public, right? And Imam Reza, all of us know who Imam Reza is, right? And Imam Reza said, whoever pays pilgrimage to Hazrat Fatima Masuma, goes to ziyarat of Hazrat Fatima Masuma, it's just like that that person came to paying pilgrimage to me and coming to paying ziyarat to me. So that's how it is, like these two people are just loving each other and like are being so close to each other. So there, you know, the very we have a lot of ladies in Islam, and all of them has these different names. So, for example, for Hazrat Zahra we say Fatima, Zahra, Tahira, Mutahhara. It's not just names, like, right? All of these names mean that this person has these specific characteristics. And one of the ladies in Islam that has so many of these names is Hazrat Fatima Masuma. This also shows the high rank of this lady. One of the things I didn't know actually, because we all knew that they say that if you actually, that Hazrat Fatima can do shafa'at in the Day of Judgment. But today I learned this more deeply. So the power of doing shafa'at at the Day of Judgment, the ultimate power is for Hazrat Muhammad.
Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Muhammad.
So we all know that. After that, who is the second person that has this great power on the Day of Judgment? That's the lady, Hazrat Fatima Zahra Salamullah alayha. So again, she has the power. That was her mahriyah, that was her dowry, that was given to her when she got married. So Hazrat Fatima Zahra has the power for shafa'at on the Day of Judgment. If she wants it, if she wants it for someone, that will happen. Okay, so it's Hazrat Muhammad, Hazrat Fatima Zahra, and who is the third person? Hazrat Fatima Ma'asume. So Hazrat Fatima Ma'asume, they say she is called Ma'asume because she has the ismat of his grandmother, Hazrat Fatima Zahra, and she's actually the third person that has the power of Shafa'at. That's what I read. Is that true? I think. Is that or not? I don't know. That's what I read. Oh yeah. So then they say so if they want, they can actually ask for shafa'at for anyone on the day of judgment. So I think that's like a great thing for a person to get even close to. And Imam Sadiq said that with shafa'at of Hazrat Fatima Ma'asume, all of our lovers, all of our Shi'ayan can enter heaven. Okay? The reason that she is called Karimeh, based on, again, what I read, it's based on a true dream, رویای صادقه of Haj Aqa Ayatollah Mar'ashi Najafi, that Imam Sadiq told him that this gave this name to Hazrat Fatima Ma'asume in his dream. So Karimeh, a lot of our scholars call her Karimeh based on that. So that was a true dream. So now we know that whoever pays pilgrimage to Hazrat Fatima Zahra, with knowing her rank, knowing her rank, knowing who you are actually paying pilgrimage to, you can that can give you the ticket to heaven. So being a real lover, being a real Shia of our Ahl Bayt, that can give you that. Two things were very interesting for me. So Hazrat Fatima Ma'asume has two things similar to Hazrat Zainab. She is alimeh ghayr mu'allimeh, means she knows things without being taught, without those things being taught to her. So just like Hazrat Zainab, she had a lot of knowledge about the scientific things, and when she was even young, she could actually answer scientific or complicated questions. So that's just like Hazrat Zainab. What's the other thing that's interesting about her? So again, we know that during that time, it was the time that being related to this family was a crime. Their dad was actually martyred in the prison, and Imam Reza was forced to move to Khorasan without any of his family. So similar to Hazrat Zainab, Hazrat Fatima Ma'asume, with all of her sisters and brothers, or not all of them, but with a lot of them, I'm not sure if it was all or most of them, they started moving to Khorasan to see her brother. And in every city they arrived, they started talking about their stories, telling the truth, enlightening people, similar to Hazrat Zainab. And when they arrived to Save, then the government attacked them. All of the men in her family were killed. And then we don't know if that made her sick or if she was actually poisoned. And then she, having heard from her father about good things about the town of Qom, asked them to take her to Qom, and then 17 days later she passed away. So I think it was interesting that she's so many things in common with Hazrat Fatima Zahra, having the power of Shafa'at, being Ma'asumeh, and having things in common with Hazrat Zainab, being alimeh ghayr mu'allimeh, and trying to take the story of her family to them. And if I have time, I can also tell. There was something about her not getting married. I don't know. Do we have to?
If you keep it at the end.
Yeah, yes. This is not important, so yeah, thank you.
Next, we have Avaya Ali Danesh on modern lifestyle and dignity. That's okay. Let's do so Sayyid Siam Qadiri on methods and ways we can improve dignity and encourage the new generation. Loud salavat.
In the name of God, the most beneficent and the most merciful. Dignity is the quality of being honorable, noble, excellent, or worthy, with a human regard as the most supreme living creature. Dignity, in its appealing sense, is better referred to as human dignity. It is the conceptual basis for the formulation and execution of human rights and is neither granted by the society nor can it be legitimately granted by the people. An imperative implication of human dignity is that every human being should be regarded as a very invaluable member of the community with a uniquely free expression of their right to life, integrated bodily attributes, and their spiritual nature. Human dignity is a sense of self-worth. Therefore, dignity is a sense of pride in oneself that a human being has with them. The conscience sense makes them feel that they deserve respect and honor from other human beings. Many scholars argue that if a human being is in a humiliating or compromising situation, then this is a major threat to their dignity. However, other human persons shall assert that they have dignity even though they find themselves in such situations. All in all, humans deserve dignity not because of their lifelong achievements, but by the fact that they are already human beings. In the Quran, chapter 17, verse 70, it says, "Indeed, we have conferred dignity on the children of Adam, carried them over land and sea, provided them nourishment out of good things, and endowed them far above most of our creation." As human beings, we are born with unlimited potential and magnificent abilities. Our faculties hold immense power. We can witness the truth of these statements in the progress, discoveries, inventions, and artistic creations people have achieved throughout history. We have been blessed with intellect, emotions, speech, creativity, memory, and so many other divine gifts. Because of the great potential these capacities hold, dignity is an inherent trait of the human being. By merely being born, we have been given great worth. While our modern consumerist society depends for its very existence on the low esteem of individuals, which has conveniently reached epidemic proportions, Islam is a path that establishes self-esteem from within. Provides us guidance and values that, if followed and internalized, inevitably resides in a strong, powerful, and confident person. The Shahada itself holds the key to our dignity. We have honor from "There is no God but Allah." We bow down before nobody but God. We are not inferior to anyone in this world. We are not slaves to other humans, regardless of their status or of our love for them. We do not worship wealth, fame, recognition, or luxuries. We have everything we need within us and in Islam. We do not refer to identity labels, but to a person whose life actually reflects the essence of divinity, and a person who surrenders him or herself to God and only to God. That is, a person whose actions are honorable in order to embody the dignity God blessed with us. We must take the time to reflect and decide carefully what our values are. We must confirm what is right and wrong, and then submit to the right. We must focus on qualities, not labels. We are not better because we self-identify as Muslim. What matters are our qualities. We have to do the work, which means responsibility. We affirm our self-esteem in many ways. They all relate to clarifying our values and living by them. One of the most effective methods for raising your self-esteem is taking inventory of the blessings and talents people was given, evaluating how you are using them, and then deciding to make the most of them. That is, making a commitment to take the high road, to feed the highest self, rather than the inferior motivations and weaknesses such as laziness, lust, or greed. Every time we give in to a weakness, we feed it and give it more of our power. For instance, if I know that calling a particular acquaintance invariably results in gossip and no good comes of it, but each time I get bored I reach for the phone to text and call that person, I am feeding my weakness. And weakness has no place in the life of a dignified person who wants to accomplish great things. While it is true that at birth we all possess equal worth and dignity, our choices in life and their consequences leave a deep imprint on our soul. The negative thoughts, words, and actions that we have accumulated throughout our lives cause our values to erode in our own eyes until very little or none remains visible to us. One of the biggest challenges for a human being is to realize his or her own value and live accordingly. It requires perseverance and a great deal of effort. Society attempts to keep us small to control us, or to tell us we need X or Y wonder product to succeed and feel good about ourselves. Or perhaps we have friends who consciously or subconsciously sabotage our progress and growth because they want us to compromise ourselves so that they too can compromise. But we do nobody a favor by doing so. A popular poet named Rumi once said, "You are born with potential. You are born with goodness and trust. You are born with ideals and dreams. You are born with greatness. You are born with wings. You are not meant for crawling, so don't. You have wings. Learn to use them and fly." The reason why many of us, however, have difficulty internalizing these ideas despite recognizing their truth is that there is a discrepancy between them and our daily actions and thoughts. These ideas require effort and action in order for them to take root in our hearts. They require us to hold ourselves to high standards, to act in ways that are dignified and carry ourselves with elegance. It is therefore of utmost importance to act in ways that recognize our self-esteem irrespective of circumstances. Train yourself to behave with poise, to walk like a dignified person, and to talk like a noble person. Do not use words of inferior meanings and never use foul language. You create your own self-esteem by how you conduct yourself when you are alone. Always be aware that the way you dress, sit, stand, talk, or eat, or even when you are by yourselves, makes a statement about the value you place on yourself. A key idea to understand and adopt is that everything we do or say has consequence and it accumulates. The beliefs that are most resistant to change and which at times causes people to feel low self-esteem are those that are established through harmful behaviors you engaged in when you were unaware that they were harmful. It is hard to believe you have a great work when you look back and see oblivious and ungrateful you were for so many blessings you had, or how you wasted many opportunities because you were too busy. But being able to see these errors in itself is a blessing, and growth happens by stages. That being said, once we gain awareness, the less harm we do to ourselves, the more good we do in the world, the better for our souls and self-esteem. It takes a lot of positive counteractive actions to begin sincerely and unswervingly believing in your worth and potential. Wasting one's time especially never goes unnoticed by our own soul. Our soul keeps track of every little thing we do, we say, and think, and our sense of self-value shows this. There are many ways to improve our sense of worth and debunk the negative ideas we have about ourselves. The main one is taking action in every area of our lives by actually doing our best. There's no way around it. Only hard work and steadfast action do it. There is no magical formula or miraculously self-help course that will successfully delude an intelligent being who has been squandering all of the gifts he was blessed into thinking he is genuinely great. The only way to have highest self-esteem is by doing the actions that lead to it. Anything else is delusion. Now once we are doing these actions, we may find that the negative voice in our heads doesn't stop and continues bothering us with negative thoughts or regrets or useless guilt. For that, we have another cure, constant dhikr or affirmations, and most importantly, going to masjid. After all, if you are an eagle, flight is your vocation. Thank you.
Hazar mashallah, one more loud salawat. And now for Aqaya Ali Danish on modern lifestyle and dignity.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. First and foremost, I would like to thank Allah for inviting me to speak here. I would like to thank all of you for attending and giving us the confidence and motivation to continue and giving us a platform to actually speak about issues that matter today and issues that can leave positive impact on the lives of many of the further generations. And I'd like to also thank all the speakers for teaching me something that I didn't know before, especially all the history and mashallah, what a good definition. And I would like I'll begin with that. So, according to in the words of my dear mother, she says, "Orbuna khuda bera." But Allah seems to have created everything in pairs. Stated in the Quran, Surah 51:49, وَمِن كُلِّ شَيْءٍ خَلَقْنَا زَوْجَيْنِ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَذَكَّرُونَ. And of all things we have created two pairs, perhaps you will remember. the issue of dignity, for in that sense, it comes in pair with arrogance, and not just arrogance. In Greek mythology, we have a word called hubris, and hubris is usually referred to in the story of the Odyssey, when Odysseus, or generally it's when a mortal or human faces a god in Greek mythology, and the word hubris would mean that the god strikes down the person. Hubris is arrogance, hubris is the fall, failure, or the punishment of a human because of excessive arrogance. So we see two parallel lines between dignity and hubris, with a fine line between the two. And it's very easy to confuse for if someone actually believes that they are, again, I repeat, I've said this in previous of my talks, but if we're going to confuse dignity with arrogance and thinking that we are better than the companion next to us, if we think that maintaining a dignity or a mindset that we are superior to, again, to anyone else, then we've in fact tainted the actual thought of and the actual essence of the dignity itself. Now the connections of dignity, again, we continue when Allah has breathed into us part of His soul. This ruh and this spirit, which makes us human beings, and it's making us submissive and purely positive. In Surah 15:29, referring to angels, Allah says, فَإِذَا سَوَّيْتُهُ وَنَفَخْتُ فِيهِ مِنْ رُوحِي فَقَعُوا لَهُ سَجِدًا or sajidin. So when I have fashioned him, referring to Adam, and I breathe into him of my spirit, then fall down to him prostrating. So in this society and day and age, when it's really apparent that everything in our society, everything in our daily lives is catered to us to feel like we are omnipotent. What I mean is that anything and I won't say it's because of America, but we live in a society where everything makes you believe that you are the sole master of your thoughts. You're the only master, like everything that you do, you are in control of. Or you are in control of your own fate and everything else. However, we must realize that everything we do has two powers in it going on. One is the power of us, and one is the power of Allah combined. And again, this is where the importance of tawakkul comes in, when I mentioned before, when we realize that there is an action, there's two forces in every action. So for us, if we were to lose dignity or act in our daily lives without the concept of dignity as a primary force in our lives, or in our tongue, again, in our respect to parents, respect to our elders, respect and our keeping our mind open, it's an actual insult to the work of Allah, who has put Himself into us, who has referred to us as His perfect creation. For us to act without dignity, again, means that we have disrespected Allah, and I don't mean that subjectively, but as in, we are not alone. If a lot of people justify their actions by saying, it's my life, it's my everything, my decisions, my thing, so I shouldn't have any type of outside influence. But that just denotes that everyone has lost the tawakkul and the foresight that there's something above us, that there's something, a more omnipotent and more powerful force above us governing us. Again, knowledge is power, so to learn as much as you can from wherever you can, and maintain humility to do so ties into that parallelity between the two. Power over self-consciousness, power over letting not others make decisions for you, not letting a circumstance make decisions for you. Friendships, authority, that means school, and it doesn't mean, and I don't mean for work or any type of job, rather than letting outside influence define who you are as a human being, your thoughts, your morals, what you believe is right and wrong, and the sovereignty or like the independence of your free mind, getting able to make and create thoughts for yourselves. Again, furthermore, we should actually we should maintain dignity because of our love for Allah, or possibly our fear of Allah. As a Muslim who's defined by submission to Allah by the name of it, we owe it to our Lord to represent His word in a dignified manner. And it does not mean we must starve ourselves of pleasure, rather we find pleasure in dignified ways. And in ways that when it is all said and done, people can still depend on you. And that ways that you can leave positive influence on the lives of people and the way they think about you and your beliefs. For instance, if our prophets and our imams were not dignified, would any of us still be sitting here today? I ask of myself, would any person even trust the word seriously to the point that, as we see now, that Islam has flourished as a result? There's a reason Allah did not make everyone prophets, as a prophet's shortcoming in character could compromise an entire message. So I believe that we read Niccolo Machiavelli says it best in his work when he states, "It is better to be feared than loved if one cannot be both." And this means that in regards to rulers, it is better to have a fear. It's better to fear a ruler, or in regards to rulers, it is better to be feared because people will listen to you rather than be loved if you cannot maintain both. And when I think of Allah, I think of a supreme leader. I think of a supreme ruler. I think of the ruler of all my decisions in life as a Muslim, which means that you should maintain both love and fear when you think of Allah. And like everything else, it's a balance. However, upon research, we see that both their love and fear share the same root and hormones in our body. There's something called the love hormone, which is called oxytocin, and it's apparently the root for love and fear. It's nicknamed the love hormone, as well as anxiety and bad memories. And this shows that the ihsas, the emotions of love and fear, especially when thinking of a Lord, just means that it comes from the same place. That's why I feel Machiavelli's work really relates to this subject, stating that an individual must analyze which one they do in order to be able to look into where if they should fear or if they should fear Allah. I don't mean to say that Allah is like, I don't mean to make it sound like Allah is out to get you or out to get us or anything, but if love of Allah does not trigger or does not spark one to act in a dignified manner, maybe the fear will. As again, looking at the biology, they both stem from the same place. And inshallah, through dignified manner and command of self, learning to control ourselves and to keep a free mind, we may be able to leave a positive influence on those around us and everyone we meet. And thank you for listening.
MashaAllah, Ali, I think that's one of the best speeches I've ever heard. Good job. Another loud salawat. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. And now Sayyid Sabri on the importance of dignity. Another loud salawat, please. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad.
خواهران و برادران بزرگوار، السلام علیکم جمیعا و رحمت الله و برکاته. بسم الله الرحمن الرحیم. میلاد مسعود حضرت فاطمه معصومه صلوات الله علیها رو خدمت همه شما خوبان، خواهران و برادران عزیزم تبریک عرض میکنم. اجازه بدید که تقدیر و تشکر بکنیم از همه شما خوبان که زحمت کشیدید، تشریف آوردید، مجلس رو با حضور خودتون گرم کردید و همچنین تشکر بکنیم از آتنا خانم با صحبت‌های خوبشون که همیشه زینت فضای مجالس بودند و همچنین خانم دکتر طاووسی با صحبت‌های خیلی جالب خودشون زحمت کشیدن، تحقیق کردن و آقای سید سیام قادری با تحقیق خوبی که کرده بودند، صحبت‌های خوب، صدای خوب و خیلی بیان دلنشینی داشتن و خب البته علی آقای دانش که واقعا دست چپی نه دست راستی ما هستن، خدا حفظشون بکنه، زحمت میکشن همیشه و اینها در واقع چشم و چراغ‌های آینده این مرکز هستن. I believe the best center is the one which is productive. If we keep inviting speakers from other states, this is not an honor for us. But after several years, if your center has its own speakers, isn't it is that an honor? Yes? Alhamdulillah. During the month of Ramadan also we experienced a lot of development among our younger speakers in this center. Please recite aloud salawat for all of them. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ali Muhammad. I believe this subject, our new generation and dignity, is very broad And I would be very happy if you can put something, if you have any opinion, if you have any question, or if you would like to add something, please. اگر میخواید چیزی به بحث اضافه بکنید خواهران و برادران بفرمایید. اگه چیزی میخواید به ذهنتون میرسه فکر میکنید که تو این بحث آیه خوبه بهش اشاره‌ای بشه. Any question? Do you want to add something? خب من دو تا نکته عرض میکنم در تتمه صحبت‌های عزیزانم. خوب شد که خانم دکتر طاووسی راجع به حضرت معصومه صلوات الله علیها صحبت کردن و بزرگواری‌های ایشون رو گفتن، چون بحث ما که راجع به کرامت هست یه خورده بحث عامی بود. I believe dignity, according to Allama Tabatabai rahmatullah alayh, is the purpose of our life on this planet, in this world, brothers and sisters. Is that افتخار و کرامت هدف زندگی ما هست. The rest are tools. They are not our goal and purpose. But unfortunately, you maybe agree. If you have a different opinion, please let us know. I would be very happy to hear from you. I believe in 21st century, two goals are being advertised by modern lifestyle. One is financial strength, economy, asset, wealth, right? And the other one is either power or position or fame. Do you agree or not? Even our new generation may focus on gaining wealth and position, and they may think that this is their prosperity. If they have more asset, more wealth, higher position, more fame, then they have the prosperity. What do you think? What do you think? What is going to be advertised by media, by modern lifestyle? Do you agree? Should I take your silence as agreement or?
I feel social media, everything. Well, again, as I was mentioned, as I was talking, I'm sorry if I keep going on on run-ons, but the thing is that I feel that social media, not just social media, everything today is catering towards making a person feel, or making an individual feel, that there is nothing but themselves, that they're alone in an ocean. Let me just put it that they're on their boat, for instance, in a big ocean, and they're the only one on the boat. I feel like in today's community, things like spirituality. Again, when the professor from the dean, from UCSD came, yes, when he came to John Evans, and he came in support of what I'm saying. Well, I think he's saying that there's been a shift from spirituality, from morality, from thinking that there's a higher power or there's someone else with you making decisions. Again, that like we're losing, or I don't want to be a pessimist to say that we're losing, but to say that there is a lack of tawakkul, that to say that again, that when every decision we make is not just ourselves, everything we have is not just ourselves, and we have a piece of Allah in us. We're actually in manifestations, we're the best creation of Allah to actually keep going and live pretty much. But again, social media, going back to what you were saying, social media and everything like that, and I feel like a society of today has tried to make everyone feel that they're independent of all of that things, of all those things that make like, so that if anything goes wrong in their life, they don't have anywhere to turn to. And I feel that's why you see there's been so much mental health issues. That's why you feel like there's been so much, I don't want to say that they're linkage, but look at all the divorce rates, and look at all the other, like behind the scenes of what seems to be one of the most developed countries, is that people are suffering because of the fact that they feel so independent, and there's not a community sense with Allah and with others who suffer the same or share the same beliefs and all that. That's it.
Anything else? Can I say two short stories as a conclusion of our subject tonight. Do you have time? Yes? One story I mentioned today in Khutbah Jum'ah speech. Wealth and asset is one of the factors, one of the goal among most of the modern people today in 21st century. But over 5,000 years ago, Hazrat Sulaiman, peace be upon him, he was the most wealthiest person on this planet, and still today no one can compete with him, right? Because he had power over human being, over animals, he had power over jinn, right? And everything was under his control. His technology was very high. According to Quran, he was the most advanced person that even in 2018 no one is able to take a queen, for example, from south of Saudi Arabia all the way to Lebanon in 2 or 3 seconds. But Hazrat Sulaiman's system was able to do this, right? So now, Hazrat Sulaiman, with all his army and security guards, were passing a road away, and one monk, Abid, worshipper, saw this system. MashaAllah, wow, how equipped he is. He said, MashaAllah, how kind of prophet he is. No king is able to compete with him, and he is prophet of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Sulaiman, peace be upon him, heard his voice. How he heard his voice, I don't know exactly. Because Hazrat Sulaiman was able to hear the voice of ant, right? Murche. So he also was hear the voice of this monk and Abid. And then he told to this Abid, Hazrat Sulaiman, please pay attention, brothers and sisters, at the end. فرا صدای ما میرسه واقعا با آقای دکتر پیمان صدا میرسه؟ الحمدلله صدای شما میرسه. He said to this Abid, Wallah, swear to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, تسبيح المؤمن خير من ما أعطي لآل داود. One dhikr, one round of tasbih is more honorable and better than whatever was granted to Al Dawood. Dawood was his father, Hazrat Dawood and Hazrat Sulaiman. So look at the perspective of Hazrat Sulaiman at that position, at that highest position. He said, Wallah, tasbihul mu'min khayrun min ma u'tiya li al Dawood. One dhikr of tasbih, if you realize the value of one dhikr tasbih, the one dhikr tasbih is more honorable and better than whatever I, Sulaiman, have. Subhanallah. So dear brothers and sisters, Hazrat Sulaiman, your prophet had the government, you know that. At the time of his demise, he had 1 million followers. He had one of the strongest army on this planet, your prophet. But they used all these as tools, remember. They were not their goal. What are your goals? Your goal is position, or the position is only a tool for you. Your degree is a position, is your goal, or it is only a tool for you. What? This is very important. Let me uncover a secret from Islamic history, which is very interesting for our dear youth. I promise that you didn't hear this part of the history. Ibn Athir, my major is history. Ibn Athir is one of the important historians. His book, Tarikh Ibn Athir, is primary source. And also, Ibn Abdul Birr, he also is one of the famous historians. His book, Isti'ab, is another primary source. And also, Al-Ghabah is one of the most important gateway to Islamic history. That is also primary source. And their authors are Sunni. Please, pay attention. It is very valuable. Try to memorize this part of the history. So, their books are primary source, They are Sunni historians. Let's see what they wrote. They say that the second Khalifa. Who is the second Khalifa? What is his name? Huh? Okay. You made our job easy. Loud voice. Okay. So he was the person who got the power, the Khilafat, from Hazrat Ali alayhi salam. Since he was very smart, he was playing behind the curtain and he put the first Khalifa, Abu Bakr, in front to be his shelter. Then at the second stage, he got the Khilafah. However, he was the mastermind of the first Khalifa. The second Khalifa, I don't want to name his name. I don't want to repeat his name, okay? So the second Khalifa was the mastermind of the first Khalifa. What was the name of the first Khalifa?
Abu Bakr.
Okay. So he was controlling him. But see why he worked hard to get the power? Because the power, the position, the fame is very valuable for some people. They think that this is dignity, this is honor. I am the Khalifa, I am the successor of Prophet, I am the empire of the Islamic civilization, right? The best fame, the best name. But look at the time of his demise. Again, go back to these three quotes that I mentioned. Al-Ghaba, Isti'af, wa Ibn Asir Tabari. They say that at the time of the demise of the second Khalifa, who got the Khilafat from Hazrat Ali alayhi salam, passed it to his friend, and then at the second stage he got the Khilafat himself. He says, at the time of his death, he said, Laytani kuntu hadhihi tina. I wish, at the time of his death, I wish I would be this carpet. Are you with me? Are you following? Look at his second sentence. Laytani lam akhluq. I wish I wouldn't be created, I wouldn't be born. Who narrated these sentences? Not Shia historian, Sunni historian. Third sentence. Laytani walidati lam yalidni. I hope my father and mother, my parents, they wouldn't born me. Laytani kuntu nasyan mansiya. This is part of Quran. Laytani kuntu nasyan mansiya. Now the entire Muslims on this planet know him, right? He is one of the most famous person. His name is everywhere. But this is his final sentence before his death. He said, Laytani kuntu nasyan mansiya. I wish nobody knew me. I wish kuntu nasyan mansiya. Everybody would forgotten me. Why? Because his concentration was position, right? Power. He tried to get the power with any way, any path, any tool, even with lying, with ignoring the ahadith of Prophet and the tradition, with ignoring and covering the hadith of Prophet that Prophet clearly mentioned, after me this Ali and his generation are the Khalifa, right? He got the power, really. He was very powerful at his time. But look what he wished. دعاش چی بود در آخر عمر. Dear youth, today in Namaz Jum'ah I mentioned that according to Quran, at any age we think that this is the best. لعب ولهو وزينة. According to Quran, up to a certain age, game, sport is the best. After, for example, 10 years old up to 16, 17 years old, the best goal for you would be, for example, your external beauty, right? So at any age, brothers and sisters, our goal has been changed. Our goal and purpose is going to change age to age, year to year. Are you happy from 10 years ago? How do you judge yourself, your act, your words of 10 years ago? You may laugh. Oh, 10 years ago, 10 سال پیش ما حرفایی میزدیم که الان واقعا خجالت داریم. No? چرا؟ چون الان شما رشد کردید. The best way, brothers and sisters, is the way of Ahlul Bayt and prophets. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has created you as the Khalifa, the successor of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Dignity, karamat, honor is our goal. Then, you need to study, of course. You have to work hard to enter to the best universities. But still, that is not your goal. That is tool. Your goal is to be the Khalifa of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Hazrat Sulaiman had everything, but all of them had no value, less than the value of one zikr of one round of tasbih, right? So brothers, dear youth, work very hard, have the most important plan, take the highest purpose in your life, best university, best job, best positions, but never do anything wrong, anything haram, any sin in order to achieve to that goal. What is the goal? The goal is your honesty. The goal is your purification and taqwa. Right? We mentioned several stories last night. I don't want to take too much of your time. Inshallah, next year during the birthday of Hazrat Ma'sooma salawatullah alayha, that they call these 10 days Dahiya Karamat, the 10 days of Karama and dignity. Inshallah, این جلسه اول ما هست درباره کرامت. سال آینده بتونیم انشالله یک برنامه‌های مفصل و بهتری داشته باشیم. باز هم تقدیر و تشکر میکنم از عزیزانمون که زحمت کشیدن، آتنا خانم، خانم دکتر طاووسی، آقای سید سیام و برادر عزیزم علی آقای دانش. خدا انشالله همشون رو موفق بداره. ما دوست داریم که بیشتر انشالله از شما جوانهای خوب، همتون جوان هستید اینجا، استفاده بکنیم. پدر مادرهای خوب، بذارید من با این جوک تموم بکنم دیگه. حالا شب عید و شادی هست. یک شخصی به دوست خودش گفت که من هر چی زحمت میکشم ما این بچم نماز نمیخونه، چیکارش کنم؟ رفیقش گفت خب بابا اشکال نداره، حالا براش خورده از برکات و ثوابهای نماز خوندن بگو. خب بابا اینا همه رو گفتن. خب از عذابهای نماز نخوندن و ترک الصلات کردن در دنیا و آخرت بگو. گفت بابا اینا همه رو بهش گفتن. خب پس حرف حسابش چیه؟ میگه بابا تو اول نماز بخون تا من بخونم. حالا مادر پدرهای عزیز، اگر میخواید بچه هاتون انشالله در مسیر عزت حرکت بکنن و افراد با کرامت باشن، اول ما خودمون باید با کرامت زندگی بکنیم، انشالله اونا هم از ما یاد میگیرن. اللهم انا نسألك و ندعوك باسمك العظیم الاعظم الأعز الأجل الأكرم إلهنا بحق قرآنك المستحكم ونبيك المكرم استجب دعاءنا يا الله 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 يا رحمن يا رحيم. خدا فرج امام زمانمون معجل بفرما. خدا مریضانمون شفای عاجل مرحمت بفرما. خدا ایمانمون، ایمان جوانان عزیزمون از گزند آفات آخر الزمان حفظ بفرما. خدا مادر، پدر، اموات اساتید و حقدارانمون ببخش و بیامرز، حوائجمون برآورده به خیر بفرما. رحم الله لمن یقرأ الفاتحه مع الصلوات. بسم الله الرحمن